Greenwich is really close to Deptford.
Hello, Ro.
Hey guys! Welcome. So happy to be here for so many reasons. I was offered a book deal. I had your book.
We know about the book.
It's great. Because Jackie did tell me that you got it from the library. I did. I was also really happy that my book was in a library because, I mean, news to me. And it was in 2020, January of 2020, when I actually set up my platform. And it was just sharing evidence-based information. You know, nutrition won't be the answer to every issue, but nutrition and lifestyle can increase the chance of pregnancy and reduce the time that it takes to get there.
That's kind of why we wanted to, again, speak to you today and spread the word about this. It played such a big part in our journey.
Do you feel like infertility is like hugely on the rise?
And that was really, really key for me, because you'll hear it all the time about nutrition misinformation online, and it's exactly the same with fertility as well, but it hits a bit harder with fertility because I feel it's a really vulnerable space. I understood the gravity of a fertility journey, seeing friends go through it. I felt kind of like the desperation, but also the willingness to do things to optimise chances. And I was like, this isn't fair. You know, there obviously are things, but it isn't taught at universities. It's not taught for medics.
Perfect. Right, straight in. Hello, Ro.
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Isn't this weird?
I know. I'm so happy to be here for so many reasons.
We had Ian in before you, Ian Stones, who you know, and he said a very similar thing at the start. He was like, this is weird, because we've kind of come like real full circle from the initial kind of investigations and how Eleanor found Ian through a completely different thing, which was acupuncture, to then Ian helping me with my DNA fragmentation and my sperm quality and all that stuff to come. And I mean, years has passed before now, and now we've got to this point and now doing a podcast talking about us after we've obviously become pregnant. And we've known each other a lot longer than I've known Ian.
Yeah.
You've known each other for longer than I've known you.
Yeah, I've known you, Ro, since 2000 and maybe 18, 17?
Yeah, at least that, I think.
Yeah, something like 7, 8 years maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And then again, we kind of lost contact and then came back around a few years ago.
Funny what brings you back into each other's lives, isn't it?
I know, but we had to, first of all, we just wanted to see you. But secondly, I really wanted to speak to you. We wanted to speak to you about the importance of nutrition in fertility, because it was a huge part of both of our journeys when we realised how important what you put inside your body and what you don't put inside your body is for fertility health.
Huge.
And again, it's something that you started investigating first. I'll let you speak for you, but you were the one, the catalyst into all this kind of diet, nutrition, and kind of put me on the right path. So
we worked together for a little bit. I came to you asking for some help and advice on where I could change things and supplements. Was I supplementing correctly?
Yeah.
Because that's a minefield as it is. And you can think you're doing the right thing, which I thought I was.
Yeah.
But there were definitely tweaks that needed to happen.
And me, kind of like as a fertility dietitian, I really understand the power of it. But it's like, I don't always know how much other people know in terms of the power. And sometimes it can be influenced by, whoever the lead is with your fertility team. Some consultants are really very pro nutrition and lifestyle, and others mention it less.
Yeah.
So, this is what I and others are trying to do in terms of advocating for the difference that nutrition and lifestyle can make. And it's really, really important to say that, nutrition won't be the answer to every issue in infertility. But for most people, nutrition and lifestyle can increase the chance of pregnancy and reduce the time that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And we can kind of look at it from different angles in just, a general good foundation that's going to help health, help hormone balance, get even things like weight, just nutritional balance in just where it needs to be. But then, as you guys know, you can get really quite targeted.
Very.
But kind of like a nutrition scientist, it's something actually that really excites me about this field, because years ago, I used to work in the NHS, working in weight management and diabetes, and it was very much around calories, macros. And, we didn't really delve into the micronutrients, and you think that, everybody, all dietitians, nutritionists would, but actually, you focus on the nutrition that's important for that field. And when you get into fertility, you really, really start to understand the power of each individual micronutrient and the role that it can play at various aspects of the journey.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I love it. I find it really, really interesting. And just the changes that we made together and seeing the difference. I think one of the main things, I'm not at the moment, I am a carb at the moment. But I did go gluten-free for quite a while because I knew inflammation was an issue that I had, especially with my PCOS, and God, I just felt so much better for it when I changed that aspect of my diet, and just everything hormone, the hormones are just, a woman is just so complex with how it all works.
It is really complex, and I think gluten is an interesting one, because the advice, what we're taught as dietitians is support people who have celiac disease to follow a gluten-free diet. So that's an autoimmune condition whereby gluten triggers an immune response. So gluten-free diet is the treatment for that. But actually, it does span further than that. Some people have gluten sensitivities, and say with PCOS, for example, so it's not in any of the clinical guidelines that people with PCOS should follow a gluten-free diet. However, we really treat people as an individual, and actually, especially people on a fertility journey as well, very well educated, very in tune with their body. And if they remove or add certain things, they're like, that's made a difference. So I do hear some people say that with PCOS, also with endometriosis as well. A gluten-free diet can reduce pain for some people with endometriosis. So where we start is, the guidelines for kind of public health, if you like, for everybody. And then we start to look at, okay, what's going to make the real difference for you? So we have to listen to those things.
Well, before we get into the weeds, because I want to ask a few questions. Should we give everyone a bit of just a bit of context of kind of your background, what you do, and kind of how it works in terms of being a fertility nutritionist?
Yes. Okay.
Dietitian.
Sorry.
Well, kind of both. You're both right. You're both right.
Kind of right? Nutritionist, dietitian, kind of.
So basically, a dietitian can be a nutritionist, but a nutritionist can't be a dietitian. So in that you need to have, so a dietitian is a legally protected title, and you have to go through specific training. So basically, my background, food science and nutrition as my undergrad, loved the nutrition aspect of it. Really interested as to how nutrition can influence health. When I was in my undergrad, I hadn't even heard of I was like, what is dietetics? What's a strange word. What is it?
How do you say it?
Dietetics is the study that qualifies you to be a dietitian.
Okay.
So I looked into it, and basically, in essence, it's like medical nutrition, and that's how it differs really from just nutrition. So as part of our training, so I did a postgraduate diploma in dietetics, and as part of that, you have clinical placements. So I had a 4-week placement and then 2 12-week placements in the NHS. Wow. So that's working with people with a variety of different medical conditions. So you can work in prevention, but a lot of the time you work in management and treatment of conditions, and doing that via nutrition. So it's kind of looking at things in a slightly different way. I then went on to do a master's in advanced nutrition. Later down the line, I also did a master's in clinical research, which I think is really useful when you work in an emerging field, so such as fertility nutrition. So one of the things I actually do, I'm the chair of the Women's Health and Fertility Group of the BDA, which is the British Dietetic Association. And one thing that we're working on at the moment is actually creating fertility nutrition guidelines, because there aren't any
at all.
Amazing.
Nothing.
There aren't any. No, there's kind of like there's loose guidance in terms of
Eat your 5 a day.
Exactly. But
That is it. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, that is kind of all there is. There is
terms of guidelines.
well, just very loose information.
it is loose, and then that's when you need to kind of then go and speak to a specialist.
Yeah.
So as I say, then I went into the NHS, largely working in diabetes weight management, but across all other aspects of health, really, like gastrointestinal health, and then kind of like branching into women's health. And how I got into fertility was, full disclosure, I'm 38, and in my
Don't look it.
Don't look it.
thanks
Oh, I
guys.
got there first.
Direct. I was thinking it.
Ding ding. I'll take that one. Sorry, go on, bro.
So, it was when I was coming into my late 20s, I had friends who were coming to me and saying, I am struggling to conceive. I'm going through IVF. What the hell can I do to increase my chances? And, they came to me, what supplements can I take? What tweaks can I make to my diet? And at that point, my knowledge was the generalist knowledge. I said, well, I can get you healthy. But actually, in terms of the specifics of supplements that you need to optimize your fertility, I don't know. So it really actually it triggered something in me. Number one, I understood the gravity of a fertility journey, seeing friends go through it. I felt kind of like the desperation, but also the willingness to do things to optimize chances. And I was like, also, this isn't fair. There obviously are things, but it isn't taught at universities. It's not taught for medics. It's not even taught for dietitians, nutritionists, at the time. So I started to then basically go into the research and go into the studies, go into the randomized controlled trials, the observational studies, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, oh my God, there is so much.
A whole new world.
There is so much. And then, so I spent years basically learning, reading, critiquing, creating in essence my own guidelines and protocols, but based upon all the evidence that exists. So that was then, it was in 2020, January of 2020, when I actually set up my platform. And it was Fertility Dietitian UK, started off on Instagram, and it was just sharing evidence-based information. And that was really, really key for me, because you'll hear it all the time about nutrition misinformation online, and it's exactly the same with fertility as well. But it hits a bit harder with fertility because I feel it's a really vulnerable space. So nutritionists, anybody who is giving information like that has a responsibility. And that's why, in terms of the messages that we put out there, we ensure that it's grounded in science. And we like to share, the latest science as well, and making sure that people are up to date. So just started with an online platform and just sharing information. But then what has come of it is we've got a virtual clinic where people come and then we problem solve with them and give them particular plans. We have different e-guides and meal plans, but for different aspects of the fertility journey, such as egg quality or sperm quality, implantation, IVF, weight management for fertility, PCOS, because it's all
so
got a
much.
different angle.
Yeah.
Even egg freezing as well. That's it falls within this umbrella. So we've created these, and then it's kind of spanned further than that as well, because of the work that I was doing. I was offered a book deal. So then that...
I read your book.
We know about the book.
It's great.
Because Jackie did tell me that you got it from the library.
I did.
And I took a picture. Luna was sat on top of it, and I went, I've just realised this is your book. Got an email. Is this actually Ro's book? And Eleanor went, yeah.
I think people are more just taken aback that I'm part of a library.
Everyone laughs at us.
I love going to the library.
I was also really happy that my book was in a library, because news to me.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yep." And I had it for weeks. I had it for weeks.
She had it that long. She got about £4.50 fines. Yeah. Remember you took it back and you were like, how much was the fine? It's about £4.50. Like,
She just bought the book.
Yeah, I definitely should have.
dickhead.
Tight.
Anyway, yeah, it's all
Oh
right.
God! But yes, we digress. But
Your book
yeah,
deal.
yeah,
Book deal.
exactly. So that was great, and also, it was published in the UK, but also in America, in Canada, Australia, New Zealand. But something that obviously I was happy to write a book. It was kind of like on my bucket list, but. One thing that I was really, really happy about is that the publisher had already decided that they wanted a book on fertility nutrition. And this is in 2020. Well, it was published 2023. So kind of like writing it in 2022. So I was just really happy that I was like, okay, people are acknowledging that this is a thing and that people understand its power and its influence. So that was really great. And yeah, basically, I'm just now I also kind of like educate healthcare professionals now. So I train other dietitians, nutritionists, but even like medics, consultants, embryologists on fertility nutrition as well. Because ultimately, the more people that know this, the more that we're going to be able to help people, the better people's outcomes will be for their fertility treatment, or may actually mean that people don't need the fertility treatment.
Wow, this is it. Isn't it?
It really is, and I think that I had this conversation with some friends of ours, Grant and Alrina, who are also like when she helped you with the acupuncture. She did your acupuncture
She did my acupuncture before and after my transfer.
And they came on one of my other podcasts, and they said we were like, knowledge is power, and she was like, no, knowledge is a power when applied. We didn't even know. It wasn't even just like being able to apply it. We had no idea, or I had no idea that diet and
The impact it can have.
the impact that diet can have on every part. And also, we're talking a lot about fertility, right? And the benefits of sperm quality, egg quality, PCOS, whatever. But the byproduct also of changing your diet is that this is a really intense journey, and even just changing your diet slightly which improves the way you feel can help you emotionally get through this, because if you're feeling better in yourself because of the diet that you've got, it just takes the edge off.
You feel like you can face it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just all these little things like mood being a huge one. I mean, if I go back to the extremes of my old lifestyle,
beige,
very beige foods, alcohol, late nights, all the other stuff that went with my old career. No wonder I was feeling like below baseline all the time, but that was normal. But when you start to treat your body in a different way and you start to put the right things in, the right fuel, and avoid the stuff that you shouldn't have anyway, it just makes this whole thing a lot what's the word? It's just
manageable.
Yeah, it not even manageable. It just adds, like all these things that we do in this journey are like tools, right? So diet's one. Then we've got even like taking things away from me, like for my sperm quality, it was like take away the sauna and all these little things, right? It was just like what little things can we do that are all going to contribute
together.
And I completely agree with that. I kind of like see fertility as like it's a bit of a puzzle.
Absolutely.
And like diet is like one piece of that jigsaw puzzle. Yeah. And then also the factors that you've mentioned, but even activity, sleep.
Sleep's a huge one.
Huge stress.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even, there's the conversation around endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Oh my God, I could talk to you about this for hours. That's something that we actually...
The yucca?
No, like something I got into probably much later in my journey, but before our last round, I stopped wearing perfume. Like, I still don't. I don't put perfume on my skin. Very careful about what products I put on my skin, what dishwasher tablets we use, household products, and like things like deodorant. I haven't used spray. I don't want to spray anything on me. And I'm very careful about what I'm ingesting. And I just,
I know, and it's difficult because these like endocrine disrupting chemicals, they are everywhere. Yeah. So it's like we also have to be realistic in terms of what we can achieve, and it can become quite extreme. It can become quite difficult to do.
Obsessive?
It can be, and this is where we've got to kind of like toe the line and figure out where the line is for each person. So say if somebody comes to us and they're really quite at the beginning of their journey, that may be a piece of the puzzle that we add in a little bit later.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a potential tweak. We know that higher levels of exposure are linked to poorer sperm quality and poorer female reproductive health as well. But it's like, how much can you load onto one person at one time?
Yeah, absolutely.
But when people have gone through several rounds of IVF and we're like, anything, I'll do anything to try to optimize
100%.
chances, this is when it tends to come in a little bit more. And I totally support that. But to be honest, I support the patient, whatever they want to do. If they're like, that, I just can't do that. That's just one step too far. Cool. Let's focus on what you're comfortable with and what we, are like big bets in terms of the things that's going to make a difference. So yes, in terms of this puzzle, this puzzle's never going to be perfect. No. Life isn't perfect.
No.
I'm a dietitian. My diet certainly isn't perfect. So it's like not aiming for perfection, but just kind of like, it's those tweaks and putting as many of the puzzle, like pieces of the puzzle together as we can.
Well, you were the one that was you were the one that was finding the missing pieces really through this whole journey. And I know I keep saying it every time we do one of these podcasts, but you were the one who would go, right, that didn't work. What is next? More research. Reach out to someone, do a discovery call. Right, I found this thing. Jackie, come read this. Watch this call I just did. Right, we've got a joint meeting. And it was just like this constant, like, chip away. Like, until we got the perfect, I mean, nothing's perfect, but we got the formula that worked for us, right? And it's long and it's laborious. And this is, again, what you mentioned, stress, right? This is
that
where
in
stress...
itself is stressful.
It is.
And we did have breaks. Like, you have to.
We had to do it.
Especially over a 5-year period.
Yeah,
you need
really
a bit of a time out because it's a lot, and you need to kind of like, I don't know, like, first of all, like, live your life because it does consume you and take over, but also just be like, right, okay, what have we done? What could we look at and change? Because what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different outcomes. We knew going into our 3rd round of IVF, we can't do it the same as we did before. And I have so much more information and more tools from learning and exploring that I was like, right, I feel like we can go into this way more confident.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, it's like a project in a way. It's like, right, let's have a debrief. What did we do last time? What shall we keep? What shall we not? What are we going to put in the plan for next time? And it's really quite methodical like that, because nothing is a guarantee when it comes to making these changes that we hope will then influence fertility. It's a kind of like all about probability and risk, and then making that best plan up for you. And then, when people have, like, each woman and each man will have different things to then have to consider, whether it's a condition such as PCOS or endometriosis. Even for men, the supplements that someone would take if they had like low motility would be, or like could be different to if they had low sperm concentration. So it's like it can really get quite intricate. But this is when it is good to, especially when it's feeling overwhelming, to go and speak to somebody who can help you to get the plan that's going to work for you. You
helped me with a few of my supplements, if I remember rightly. So you definitely recommended, I'm sure it was, I was taking Impril. You were like, keep taking that. But there was one I wasn't taking, never took. It might have been vitamin E. Was it vitamin E?
Yeah, so there's a couple, because it was to do with DNA fragmentation. Yeah. And there's a couple of different protocols that you can go on. But yeah, one is basically high dose vitamin C and vitamin E together. Vitamin C and E, that was it, yeah. So I was already taking C and you went, add vitamin E. And then no one had recommended E, nowhere I'd been. And that was what I took on this last cycle. And I mean, I'm not saying the vitamin E did it, but again, it's one of these things. It's like, add all these little things in.
Its part.
And this is it. And I'm sure we can go into it maybe on a future episode, and we can actually like talk about that particular study. Yeah. But they're specific protocols, and then it's like the proportion of men who had, improved DNA fragmentation, but then actually led on to higher rates of clinical pregnancy and higher live birth rates as a result of this supplementation. Because basically, like, both vitamin C and vitamin E are antioxidants. And so high dose antioxidants can basically help to counteract what's going on with the DNA fragmentation. So again, but with this, it wasn't 100% of people had a clinical pregnancy and 100% of people had a live live birth.
Yeah.
But the number of people who were taking these supplements, like in that group, the rates were higher.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, it's about probability and things that we try. But I know you were speaking to Ian just before, but I do really believe in the power of and the utility of tests.
Yeah.
And knowing things, you know, DNA fragmentation is a newer thing. You know, people were having like a standard semen analysis and nothing coming, you know, oh, everything's normal, everything's fine. And then we've got high levels of DNA fragmentation. So I do think it's an important part of the conversation. But having said that, it's not accessible to everybody.
No, financially, it can destroy you because, I mean, I remember when I got the DNA fragmentation test the first time, 2021, and Ian told me the cost, which, by the way, it's way more now.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure I think I might have paid £315 or around 300 quid at the time.
What is it now?
It's more than that.
Like 5.
It's under 400 something. But Ian and with Test Him, they're trying to eradicate
Cheaper than
that,
a round
but
of IVF though.
bring the cost down. But the tests, I don't want to think about the amount of money we spent on tests, but all the tests that we've done have brought us to the place we are now. If we just guessed and just, you know, it is guesswork when you think about it, but it's that process of elimination.
Yeah.
What have we tried last time? Right, we've done that. We found that out. Right, what's next? And I completely agree. I think tests are important, but to come full circle again, what you were saying, they're not accessible for everyone because they can cost a fortune. That one test you did on this cycle with the latest clinic, which had to get sent to Chicago,
£850.
one test.
An immunity test to check for natural killer cells, which I knew I had high levels of anyway, but because it was with a new clinic, they have to do it. I mean,
We already knew.
Sorry, you don't have to do that test, but they were like this because of the results you've had before with a different clinic. We think this
Over
is
6 months old.
And yeah, exactly. And it had to go to Chicago.
And also the test that they did isn't not accepted, but it's not acknowledged as
It's not always acknowledged as being
a proper
thing.
test. So they have to use this clinic in Chicago. But anyway, what I'm saying is, the point is, back to what you were saying, it's not accessible for everyone.
Not everyone can do that.
No, that's a lot of money.
And this is, I think this is certainly one thing that we need to improve is just, you know, like a health system in general, you know, in terms of just, you know, even with IVF on the NHS, there's discussions that are happening in Parliament at the moment.
About the postcode lottery, because we were never eligible. Like where we live.
Wow, not even for one round.
No, because at 35 is their cutoff.
Oh my
So you're like basically considered too old at 35. Yeah, my GP was like, no, sorry.
It's unbelievable.
35,
isn't it? Unbelievable.
And but also, if we were accepted, I'm sure the wait list for IVF on the NHS isn't that? I don't know.
I don't
isn't
know.
It like 18 months in some places to 2 years. Some people are waiting just to get seen.
And that's the thing. I just, you know, we all know what it is to kind of like go through that journey. I know from the patients that I work with. So I feel that the system just needs to be better, and we can't ignore the fact that people are generally having children much later in life now.
Yeah.
And with increased age comes reduced fertility for women, as everybody knows, but also for men too. You know, sperm quality is affected as men age. So it does affect, you know, both men and women at a population level. And the policies in terms of like how this runs at the moment, I just don't think it cuts it.
No, neither do I. And yeah, another thing that just infuriates me. It's like another barrier.
Yeah.
And it just felt unfair.
Yeah.
And what I find even more unfair is, you know, we are have been in a fortunate position. We've been able to afford to go privately, which we have had to do for everything, every test, minus a few bloods I got at my GP. Everything else,
as you should. And you know, this is kind of a note to anybody that's listening. GPs will do certain blood tests.
Yes, they will.
Where you can access the NHS, absolutely
use it.
Do it.
Absolutely
Use it.
do.
But for people who can't afford it and they need to have that extra help, they need to have IVF. That's just your journey. Like, sorry.
Exactly. And then
Heartbreaking.
And then, you know, in a
fair.
real life situation, that can be IVF, or it's like that's your house deposit.
Well, it basically is.
100%.
Yeah.
It could be more.
Yeah.
It depends where you go, and if you need tests,
And what you need doing.
If you need to do tests, you know that
Or how many rounds you need.
yeah, exactly. It might, you know, we're talking about one round here, which could be a house deposit, depending on where you go. But you might, luckily, you might not get like more than one. You might do the whole cycle again to get another embryo, and it just becomes unmanageable. And there's a lot of people out there who've been through 2, 3, 4 rounds, and they're left empty-handed, and it is. I mean that
Literally
it's heartbreaking.
empty-handed in all ways.
And yeah, it's brutal. I had a question for you actually on supplementation. So I've had conversations with people, and it wasn't related to fertility, but it was related to just general supplementation, whether that be vitamin C or whatever it is, right? The conversation I had with this person, and actually it was a couple of people, was that supplementation is the biggest hoax. The biggest.
Really?
Yeah, I won't tell you who it was. It's the biggest hoax in the last 20 years, and that all the things that you need in terms of nutrients can be found in the food that you eat, and diet alone can solve pretty much all of the deficiencies. Now, this isn't something I agree with, but I'm going to put it to you as if they were sat here. So if I was to say to you that exact phrase, that exact sentence, what's your response to that in terms of like the truth or how valid do you think that argument is?
Yeah, okay. So I think a food first approach is the best way to go. So food first, let's see what nutrients we can get from the diet, because supplements are designed to supplement and not to replace and just be like our source of nutrition. But there's just, even within like fertility, even public health, it's quite easy to, I don't want to say destroy that argument, but say with vitamin D, for example. So we cannot get sufficient amounts of vitamin D from our food. There are small amounts in food, but actually we synthesize vitamin D through sunlight. So during the spring, summer months, if we're exposed to the sunshine in the middle of the day, then we can get the vitamin D that we need. During winter months, we need to take a vitamin D supplement. So 10 micrograms daily to meet our requirements. But from the fertility standpoint as well, so the advice is to have 400 micrograms of folic acid, so basically folate, vitamin B9, when you're trying to conceive, and then up to at least the 12th week of pregnancy. And the reason why is that a folate deficiency is implicated in the development of neural tube defects, so such as spina bifida and things like that. So public health guidance is vitamin D supplementation winter months, that folic acid supplement as well. So that's just the baseline. But when we come, this is, what we were mentioning before in terms of optimization and increasing chances and reducing risk. So prenatal supplements, for example, they have been studied and they do increase chances of pregnancy. They do reduce the time it takes to get there. They contain antioxidants as well. Obviously, we want plenty from the diet, but these can give you extra antioxidant like a boost. There are other things such as, several nutrient deficiencies are implicated in infertility. So having low levels of ferritin and iron deficiency anemia is very common in women of reproductive age. We lose iron on a monthly basis through our menstrual cycle. I mean, during pregnancy, our requirements are even higher. But many people need supplements to get their levels up to where we need them to be. I've already mentioned folate deficiency in the context of neural tube defects, but also a folate deficiency can be implicated in miscarriage. A vitamin B12 deficiency can mean that you're at a higher risk of implantation failure and also miscarriage. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with lower success when it comes to fertility, whether that's trying to conceive naturally or through fertility treatments. And that's before we even get into the, specifics of things that can tweak, when we were speaking about like supplements to improve sperm parameters or egg quality or supplements to support PCOS, anything. So supplements are incredibly important actually on a fertility journey, and they can make a difference for a wide variety of reasons.
Yeah. We agree. We agree with you.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to see what your stance would be on that, because I mean it's two different arguments, right? It's one which is supplementation for just general diet.
Yeah.
But this is a specific goal.
It is.
You're trying to achieve a certain result, which has so many variables involved. And I just think whether it's diet or whether it's you trying to get pregnant, whatever it is, if there is a supplement out there which isn't going to break the bank, especially with the cost of how expensive a cycle of IVF is, for example, you would absolutely try all the supplements you can or that you've got access to, right?
Yeah. We're like walking pharmacy at home.
you know that thing that like old parents will say when they see like how many things you take, they're like, "Oh, are you not rattling taking all them?" I'm like,
and I think a lot of people on a fertility journey are,
in more ways than one.
But there's also the point that you can also over supplement.
I was going to say that, like, you can overdo it, and then it's no point in doing it because your body's just kind of gets rid of it.
Yeah, so it can get rid of it. Also, there's safe upper limits for supplements as well. So we don't want to go beyond certain levels because it could have safety implications for you. Also, there's the thing about not having too many antioxidants. So oxidative stress is something that can damage sperm cells, it can damage egg cells, and this is why antioxidants are so important, because it basically counters the damage that can be done by oxidative stress. However, if you have too many antioxidants, and this is when you have maybe like lots of high dose antioxidant supplements, you can get something that's called reductive stress. So that it can actually do damage by going, the other way, exactly. So it's really important not to just go, okay, I'll take that, and that.
You need to get the right advice.
You do.
Which is why one of the reasons however long ago I spoke to you and you were like, I think you need to lower that amount, add a little bit more in of that and just tweak it a little bit. I wasn't way off the mark, but I definitely needed some tweaking with what I was taking.
Exactly. And this is what it comes down to, when we have like consultations with people, it's like, right, let's get everything out on the table. This is where we are. This is where we want to be. These are the things that we can do. Let's curate a plan. And it's just kind of like, it's going off what the science says. And then it's about making sensible decisions that, again, it's linked to that risk, like that probability of increasing that probability to get you to where you want to be. Yeah.
When you started, getting those comments from friends, I think you said you were in your 20s when you started getting more and more questions about I want to get pregnant, but what can I do? How much has the conversation changed from that point to today? Is it drastic, or is it still the conversation around diet and nutrition with fertility? Is it still kind of teetering, or has it really started to become a bit more prominent in the world of fertility dietitian?
Yeah. Stuff? It's so much further advanced now than what it was. People understand it as the general public understand it as a strategy in terms of influencing fertility. But even from like the medical side, and kind of like dietitians and nutritionists, they know this is kind of like a career path now, and things that they can go down. So, and the information now is so much more accessible. When we're talking, 10 years ago, social media wasn't what it was.
No.
And yes, of course, social media can have its downsides, but actually it can be incredibly positive and useful. And as long as you follow the right people.
Yeah. Definitely,
you can get some really
accounts.
You can get some really useful advice. So no, I think it's changed drastically and for the good.
Well, that's kind of why we wanted to again speak to you today and spread the word about this.
Yeah,
because it played such a big part in our journey. You obviously did that stint with Ro, and you talked through some things that you said you should do, shouldn't do, try this, try that. And all these conversations we've had have all accumulated to us now, you know, being in the position we are and being pregnant and expecting this year. And we couldn't be more excited. But sorry, I think I've spoke loads on this.
I was
episode.
actually had a question, like again on like the conversations, maybe not just with friends, but like just people coming to you in general. How the amount of people coming to you, do you feel like that's increased over the last few years? Do you feel like infertility is like hugely on the rise?
Infertility is on the rise,
Yeah.
and again, I think a lot of it comes down to our advancing age and people delaying having children for whatever reason, and it does become more difficult. The time to pregnancy does increase, but for hopefully the majority of people that we work with, we get there.
Yeah.
But what is interesting as well, and the slight difference that we see over the past maybe couple of years, is the number of women who are wanting to freeze their eggs.
Yes.
So, and that, as you guys know, that was something that I did over a year ago now. I think, like,
Can't wait to
it's probably coming.
unpack that.
Oh yeah,
Such an interesting journey.
yes. So like that, yeah, over a year ago, like coming up to probably 18 months ago now when I did that. But yeah, many people are looking to this now to, you know, if they're considering having children in the future, and this is a lot of people that tend to do it are like 35 plus, whereas the advice is, oh, you know, your best quality eggs are, you know, when you're in your 20s. But like, how are you going to know whether that's a good choice in your 20s or not? And again, it's not cheap.
No.
And once you do it, which is, you know, you pay for your eggs to be in the freezer every month.
Their little hotel that they're staying in.
I consider it like a gym, but I like hotel actually. Hotel fridge,
Of course
hotel
you think it's a
freezer,
Hotel freezer.
hotel freezer. Yeah, but you know that's £30 a month. So that's why I think of it as a gym, because it's like a gym membership.
Yeah, of course.
I go to Pure Gym. That's my gym membership. And then I don't know how long they're going to be in there for. Yeah. But then also what people don't realise is, because egg freezing, in essence, is like the first half of IVF.
It is.
And people don't really think about that. But then also, if you're going to use those eggs, you then need to pay for the second half of IVF.
Which is like the ICSI, if you're going to have that bit. Well, and then the transfer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's like, it doesn't just stop. No. The cost doesn't just stop at that point. So, you know, when they say, oh, yeah, you know, consider it at late 20s, in reality, whether that will be the right choice for a lot of people, I don't know. But because there is this, you know, there is a lot of discussion, and people may think, oh, you know, because there's so many more career opportunities for women now, the opportunity to travel, just like there's so much in life that we can do, and people just love their life and are enjoying their lives.
Yeah.
So that's a reason, or it could just be a reason around, you know, not having met the right person.
Yeah.
And you don't know this at like 27. And like, even, you know, when you are in a long-term relationship, it can go like that.
Yeah. With the egg freezing story, I don't know whether I told you this recently when we spoke.
Is this about the girl in
Soho House? Yeah. So I went to speak to a gentleman about this whole project. Actually, it was about just getting some advice. Someone who'd done something similar in a different space. They wanted to get a bit of advice. And as I stood up to leave this conversation, he went one way, I went to go to the loo, and this lady stopped me and went, "Sorry, just before you go, I just want to say, I overheard the word embryo, and I don't know what you're going through. I didn't mean to overhear. I wasn't listening."
If you're on a fertility journey, though, you're like, embryo? Yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah. She went, "I just want to say, I wish you the best of luck, whatever you're going through." And I ended up sitting with her for like 20 minutes. And she was 37. She hadn't found her partner yet. She's been in and out of relationships, but wanted to freeze her eggs. She'd been through 4 rounds of egg collection. The first 2 failed, nothing. Mm. And then the last 2 she managed to get 9 eggs out of like for 2 rounds. Yeah. But she did them in Harley Street, and she said it's done me in financially.
Eye-watering.
And I had to do this on my own. And I haven't had a partner like to do it with me. And that reminded me of you doing your egg freezing. And I was like, yeah, I've just thought about that. We did it together, and obviously we support each other. But when there's a lot of women out there who are doing
it on their own,
freezing their eggs on their own. They might have a support system, but regardless, you've got to do that solo.
Still doing the injections and the hormones.
It's all the same.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
It's a lot. So we will go into that in depth. I think that egg freezing story is a whole episode.
Podcast on its own. Yeah, definitely.
But before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to say? I mean, for sure, please tell people where they can find you on social media, websites, anything like that, Instagram, stuff like that.
Yeah. So
whichever one. This one.
So, the best place to find me is on Instagram at fertility.dietitian.uk. We've also got our website, fertilitydietitian.co.uk. And what we've kind of like discussed is hopefully I'm going to become a bit of a resident nutritionist, resident dietitian
just announced
here.
it.
Definitely. I've announced it. Cat's out the bag. Yeah. But what we kind of wanted to do is bring certain topics and kind of deep dive so that when you guys are going through it, you can be like, right, actually, I want to go and learn about PCOS, or I want to go and learn about nutrition for sperm quality or something like that. So we want to make these really practical with takeaways, because we ultimately want to help you on your journey. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys under this amazing circumstance. It's been kind of like an honor and a privilege to be on this journey with you, and I'm just so happy that we're here right now, and hopefully we can help a lot of other people along the way.
Absolutely. Well, that is why we're here, isn't it?
I think we are. I think that we have you on this journey, from having those friends giving you those comments and you saying, I've got to do something. We feel the same. We've been through this, and yes, it's an anecdotal experience, but we've learned a lot over this five, almost 6 years coming up. This is the 6th year now. There's no reason why we shouldn't give this knowledge back. And,
absolutely.
Again, we're not preaching, we're not teaching, we're not telling you what to do. We're just telling you our experience.
Story.
And speaking to people like you who are experts in your field, I think super important. We're very privileged to have you here. We really appreciate you, Ro. And we look forward to having more conversations like this in the future.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.